All right, so the first tools I bought from Hikoki was the Gen 1 framer and the Gen 1 fixer. I bought these in a combo kit about 2 years ago. I've been using them for a fair while at the time. Obviously, I'm not using them anymore though because we've got the Gen 2 guns out here. I got these ones probably at January or Feb, start of this year. And we've got the framing gun. We've also got the 15, 16 gauge fixers. And I've also got the PPN nailer over this side. So I got this one at the start of the year as well. But it is still that Gen 1 body, which is a bit of a shame because that gun could be really good if they upgraded that to the Gen 2 body. So that's when I got the guns, and for the rest of the tools in the middle here, the actual 36 volt combo kit I had that since maybe July last year, which is going back about 15 months. And this has honestly been one of the best combo kits I've ever used. And the best thing about it as well is when I bought it, it cost $2,000. And that was insanely cheap. I was actually doing a big video at the time where I was buying all these different combo kits from Milwaukee, Makita, DeWalt, all the big brands. And I was spending $2,000 to see the quality of tools I got for that price. Hikoki blew away the competition. These tools were so cheap. They gave us the 36 volt stuff. And actually when I was picking up these guns from some of the reps, they did tell me that they were doing that deal and actually losing money on these tools, but they were just trying to get Hikoki's name out there again and really get established into the market. Now we'll go through all of these tools in a second, the pros and cons from them. There's also a couple tools that have broken. We can see this drill here, and actually the impact driver isn't here because I've recently misplaced that, or maybe it's gone missing, I'm not too sure, but I cannot find the impact driver, which is a shame because their impact driver has been the best impact driver I've ever used in my life. You've got a great range of settings with it, and then I think it's called the triple hammer, the one I've got. It just feels so nice. It sounds so nice. Genuinely the best impact driver I've ever used. Now at the back here, we're going to have a look at this saw. And as a carpenter myself, this is probably one of the most important tools that we're going to be looking at from this whole range of tools here. It's because I'm using saws all the time, and you definitely need to have a saw that you can handle well and use well. Otherwise, you're just not going to be able to get good cuts out of it. This being the 36 volt saw, it's got a fair bit of power behind it, meaning I can easily rip through timber, and it's not super heavy. I'm obviously used to it now, but I don't mind the weight behind the saw. And the other thing I always look for is the visibility coming through this angle to see if I can see that blade. When doing a cut, I always want to make sure I can see where that blade's hitting the timber, and I'm never looking at the base plate at the front here, so it's really important that you do have that window through there. So this saw has been great to start with, and I've never had an issue with it. It's looking a bit dirty right now, so that's on me. I need to give it a good clean. Otherwise, I might actually get some issues in the future with it. The only downside with it is that since it is a 36 volt saw, obviously it's going to be a bit bigger than those 18 volt tools. So when I'm climbing through a roof, it's not as easy to move around with one hand to do awkward cuts if you're building a roof. But that is the trade-off you get for having that 36 volt tool. And this is actually one of those other tools I was speaking about earlier that has actually broken on me. This one, completely my fault though. Now before we talk about what's going on with it, this thing has been a beast. You look at it, it is huge. I reckon it's the biggest recip I've ever used. With that, it comes a lot of weight, and it is a heavy thing to hold up and hold around, but it's got so much power in it that it rips through the cuts. It's super easy to use. Obviously the downside is with that weight, if you're using it above your head for a fair bit of time, it could get quite heavy. Using it with two hands, it's not too bad, but if you're trying to do an awkward cut with one hand, good luck, that's not going to happen. In terms of what's happened with it, the tool itself is still completely operational. If I put a battery in there, we've got power. This scared the shit out of my cat, but we've got power. You can hear that it is quite powerful as well. What had happened though, is we're doing a boardwalk at the start of this year, and we're using our tools almost every day there. This is one of the tools that I had out, and while we're working, it was just raining, and it got quite rusted towards the end of the tool. And when it got rusted, it had a recip blade in it, which has since snapped off, but I've got the end of that recip blade stuck inside the tool, and it probably is fixable. I've spent a bit of time though, but you can't actually get in there with anything now. I had some pliers on it trying to pull it out, but I probably should have sprayed it with WD-40 first. I didn't realize it was going to be stuck in there so well. But all we have is that snapped end of the recip blade in the end of the tool, so I can't put another blade in. There's definitely going to be a way that I can play around and get that out. Even if I get a drill and try to drill into that blade to loosen it up and get rid of it, I'm definitely taking full responsibility on that one though. That was a misuse of the tool which caused that issue. While we're talking about these 36 volt tools, we've also got our Rotary hammer here, which is another one of those 36 volt tools. And this is also another tool I have not had an issue with. You can see she's quite beat up. I've definitely used and abused her. It's been the Rotary hammer that I've been using on site for the last year. And yeah, you can definitely tell that it's been truly used quite a fair bit. This thing has been a weapon. No issues at all. And with that 36 volt, it has absolutely flown through and done everything I've asked of it. So I've been super happy with that. We make our way across, we've got one of the 18 volt tools now. This is the oscillating tool, and I did actually have a bit of a problem with this. Now the way that this tool works is you've got a lever in the back here, you pop that open, and to change a bit or attachment, you got to pull that up, and I'm just going to get in there and twist it out. But here we go, we've got this little bit that comes out from inside that little attachment, that blade there. Now I can pull the blade off, and to put another blade on, you got to sit the blade in place, and you've got to keep this attachment, push it in there, and that attachment gets sucked in, clicked into the tool, and that's what holds that blade in place. Now the issue I had is I was using not this exact bit I've got on my hand, but I had one similar to this, and you can see on the top of it, it's like almost like a T, and that top of it acts as a washer which sits over the blade, clamping it in place so it can't fall out. What happened once is I was using this, wasn't even pushing much power or much pressure against it, and that blade must have had a bit of pressure going that way, which pushed against this bit here and snapped the top of it off, meaning that I had nothing to hold that blade in place. When that happened, you couldn't use the tool. There's nothing to hold your blade or attachment in there. Yeah, so this tool was a complete write-off when that happened. Obviously, if I got another one of those attachments, I could use it again. And that did happen when I went through and grabbed these second gen guns. I was speaking to some of the Hikoki crew there. I told them my issue, and at this point, I never went to a tool shop. I hadn't acted on it. I didn't do anything to try to get it fixed. And they said that it's happened to a few people, and the new bit that I've got in the tool now is actually been redesigned, and this isn't the one that originally came with the tool. It comes with the tools these days, but they've redesigned this one, made it stronger, and since then, I haven't had an issue with it. So that's one small issue with Hikoki tools, but I'm not going to give them any shit. I can't really hold that against them. If there was an issue that they fixed straight away, acknowledged it, and they've made it better for the future versions of the tool. So I think that is pretty great. I've been super happy with that. We've got the impact wrench here. This thing's been pretty good. It does look a bit cleaner than the rest of the tools, and I haven't used it extensively. It's done everything I've asked of it, but I can't do any special comments on that. We've got the blower here as well. Same thing, you can't speak too much about that. And then that leaves us to the drill here. And yeah, the whole head of this thing is fallen off. Also, it doesn't work with the battery at all. And this is another broken tool that is completely on me. Actually, this one happened last week. I was up on a frame on a roof, and I was climbing through the trusses. We had to do a few screws, screwing them together. So I was pre-drilling for the screws, and then it came off my belt hook, and it hit the truss, flew down a couple stories into the concrete, and it's happened before with a lot of different tools. I'm actually sure I've probably dropped this one off the roof quite a few times. I don't really want to admit how many times I've dropped my tools, but normally they land all right. This time though, it obviously would have just hit on the worst angle possible. I'm pretty sure it came down on the nose of the drill, something like that, hit the nose there, and unfortunately snapped off. So that's another broken tool. And as I said, the recip and the drill, completely on me. The multi-tool wasn't my fault, but Hikoki acted on that straight away and got that fixed. Also, just to make a point right now, I haven't done anything with the drill or the recip, so I don't know what the warranty's like, if they will fix those two tools. I'm guessing not for the drill, because that's definitely on me. For the recip though, I'm not sure what the go is there. I just want to make that clear that I haven't gone out and tried to fix that yet. So I'm not holding that against Hikoki, that's definitely on me. Now when we're looking at these guns, obviously we got the framers, which we'll start with. I've actually got a brand new Gen 2 framer just the other day, and where's he? Here we go, here's a Gen 1 framer, which, like I said, that's PPN. There we go, the framer's right here. You can look at the guns next to each other, you can see the Gen 2 visually looks so much more modern, so much better, and that is because it definitely is. This is arguably the best battery framing gun on the market at the moment. When I was using that Gen 1 framing gun, from the start, I was never really sold with it. It was kind of good. It had a few good things about it, but I was listing problems straight away, so that did my head in. Fixing gun was a lot better. Didn't really have any problems, anything that did my head in, but the upgraded fixing gun is just so much smoother than this one. So they've improved both the guns. The framing gun is a noticeable difference though, which I'm really stoked about. This one's brand new. I previously had another one of their guns. One of the reps just sent me over a new one though, which is perfect for a big head-to-head battery framing gun review I'm doing quite shortly on my main channel. So that's why that one looks brand new and nice and clean. But the one I had before that, I absolutely loved. The only issue I had is that it didn't actually have this belt hook here. We had the rafter hook, which is this big clunky hook. And if you tried to hang that onto your tool belt, it wasn't a solid fit. The gun would be sliding around, hitting your leg. And the reason it took them so long to get this belt hook here is because all the tools are coming from Europe. And I never knew this, but I've been told by the Hikoki reps in Australia that no one in Europe really cares for those belt hooks. They don't actually hook the guns onto the tool belt, and that's why it never came out with that belt hook. So the reps I was talking to from Hikoki said that they were pushing to the head office in Europe saying we need these belt hooks down here in Australia now. Every carpenter, everyone that bought that gun was calling out for it. So it's finally here. They've gone through and they sent me one of these out. So I've actually got one that they sent me out for my older gun. And then when I got the new gun, all the new guns now come with that belt hook. So that was the only thing that this gun was lacking. With that now, it's pretty much unstoppable. I don't think there's many more guns out there. And I'm just looking at it right now. This belt hook is actually on upside down. I put it on the other day, and that is super embarrassing. You can tell I haven't used that gun yet. I don't really know what was going through my head when I put that on. But I'll fix that up, I'll spin it around, and that is definitely the best gun on the market by a mile. So that's all the Hikoki tools I've got in front of me. As I said, my experience has been pretty great with them. There's been a few problems for me misusing the tools mostly, but I honestly reckon that this 36 volt range of tool is better than Makita's 40 volt, better than DeWalt's 54 volt. I'm arguably saying that these are some of the best tools you can buy at the moment. I was blown away when I got these tools, and I've been using them for the last year. And apart from the problems that I've put upon the tools myself, they've been great. I can't complain about much at all. And I definitely reckon these are one of the best tool brands out there on the market right now.